Hello my friends, how are you doing? Today I'm going to show you how to create the dark green Moody look from this picture to this. My name is Olivio, I'm a professional designer, and if you want to learn about photo editing, you came to the right place. Before we get started, I want to invite you to check out my newest adventures over on my vlog channel. So let's get started here with the original picture, and the first thing we want to do is to make it a little bit darker and a little bit more high contrast. So go to Adjustments, and then we go up here to Brightness and Contrast and lower this down, because you can see in the original the exposure is pretty high, but also we want to get the greens darker. And then also push up the contrast a little bit. You can see how this also intensifies the greens. This is important when we start to adjust the green colors. All right, next step is to duplicate the original picture. Right click, duplicate, drag it over the adjustment layer up here, and then set it to soft light like this, and this will make the picture pop. You can reduce the opacity a little bit if that is too much. So let's bring this down a little bit like so. Let's say that looks good. Okay, so now you can see the colors are a little bit intense, so I will use an adjustment layer for vibrance to bring down the saturation. So we have a vibrance and a saturation setting in here. So let's pull down the saturation a little bit like so. Okay, and now it's time to actually adjust the green colors. The way we are doing this is with an adjustment layer for Selective Colors over here. And for this, we want to adjust the yellows and the greens. And a very important thing here is that you turn off the hook where it says relative, so that it has a different impact on the picture. So you want to basically, I mean, this is really dependent on the colors in your picture. You have to play a little bit around with that. In this case, in my picture, I will simply drag everything completely to 100%, even the black down here. And then also do the same thing for the green color, drag everything over here, and you can see how this gives an interesting look for our green colors, while the deer in the middle still looks good. Okay, the next thing is that we want to fine adjust the tone of the green to give it a different taste and a different expression. For that, I'm going to use an Hsl adjustment. You have to be a little bit careful with that. So let's go to Adjustments and then to Hsl. And you want to go here on green, and you can again color pick to get a more specific green. Let's click here. You see it has readjusted it a little bit, and with this you can use the hue shift to move this over, and you can see now you can get a lot of different greens. Like for example, this is also a cool green if you want it. It's more like a blue green in there. What you also can see that this didn't completely grab every part of green, so you want to extend this over a little bit into the yellow area, but not too much, because otherwise we are going to start to grab areas of the deer. We don't want that, right? So just be careful, move this a little bit over, and you can see that now it is grabbing more areas than before. Okay, let's move this a little bit over. Let's see here. Oh, that's okay, good. Can also move this a little bit over. Good. So let's move this back a little bit like so. That looks good. And then also we can use the Lumiosity Shift to make our greens darker. Let's go like this, and you can see now we are very close to that look that we want to have. So let's see, that looks actually good. The last thing I want to do here is a little trick I want to show you to make things stand out and more high contrast, and that is to go to your live filters and use high pass like so. Make sure that this is not a child of your adjustment layers, but actually sits on top of everything. First, you don't see anything, but then when you move the radius over, you start to see details in your picture. And with this, you can actually use that layer as a dodge and burn layer when you set it to soft light. And you can see if I turn this on and off, that this gives me a little bit more texture. Look at this detail here on the fur of our deer. If I turn this off, it's a little bit blurry. And if I turn it on, it has more detail. And of course, with the radius, you can move around the slider and see how much impact you want to have on the picture. Also, it has an impact here on the background, on these kind of details. So you want to play around with that and just set it up to your taste. Thank you very much for watching. Maybe subscribe if you like my videos, and see you in the next tutorial. Bye.